It's Brunch with Brian, and we're together again. So today, guys, did you listen to the Teaching Tuesday last week? Who listened to Teaching Tuesday? Who missed it? Okay. Now I sometimes am extra nice, and I say if you missed it and you really want to hear it, send me an email and I'll send you the link. Okay. So sometimes I say that. And that is a possibility. So if you missed something important, now the last 2 weeks were both pretty important, I think. I mean, they were different, very different topics. 2 weeks ago, we talked about bad habits and addictions, beating bad habits and addictions because they hold you back. They take your focus away. They're huge time wasters, and they're usually not great for your self-esteem either. So let's focus on the right things, not our bad habits or our addictions. Let's get over those. And so I talked about that 2 weeks ago. If you have any challenges with any pernicious bad habit or nagging addiction, you need to listen to that one. That was a really important one. So that was 2 weeks ago. If you want to hear that one, or if you know anybody who you would like to hear that one, make sure you're letting us know. So go ahead and email us at support@thewolfcouple.com, support@thewolfcouple.com, and we'll send you the link to that. Okay. So 2 weeks ago, we talked about overcoming bad habits and addictions so you can be successful, the most successful you, the best version of you, the best role of yourself. Okay. But then also 2 days ago, we talked about foreclosures, pre-foreclosures. So we really went into the pre-foreclosure market on all the different things from marketing to how to close them and everything. Remember, there's a specific script called the pre-foreclosure seller closing call. It's in your seller what to say manual. Remember, where there's two what to say manuals, one for sellers and one for buyers. And for this one, you're using the pre-foreclosure. Sometimes I call them pre-foreclosure / short sale seller, although short sales are not as common as they used to be. Sometimes there are still deals where we do short sales. So short sale, whenever you find someone who's behind on the mortgage like that, a pre-foreclosure deal, usually it means they're 3 payments behind. But anybody who's a couple of payments behind and feeling more motivated because of it, that's a seller you want to be talking to. So there's a lot of pre-foreclosures out there. As I mentioned, if you're in the Wolf's Deal Club, we have a software program that we will actually send you pre-foreclosure leads in your area, the hottest leads in your area, scored by an artificial intelligence to make sure you're working the best leads. That's a special bonus. That's a special benefit of being in the Wolf's Deal Club. So if you're in the Wolf's Deal Club, and you should be here, if you're in the Wolf's Deal Club, you should be on here and you're not. So we got to get you on Brunch with Brian, because a lot of the folks in the Wolf's Deal Club do not come regularly to Brunch with Brian. Tisk, tisk. So all you guys are good. All you guys are doing an awesome job. You're showing up for Brunch with Brian, yes, and you're learning what you need to know. And you're getting excited. So let's get excited today. Let's have a great Thursday. We're a little bit into the month of May, and now is the time when summer action is really starting to brew and cook. And so this is the time to be aggressively marketing and aggressively calling FSBOs. Now is the time to be out there in the marketplace where a lot of people are moving and want to move, and summertime is the time. Things happen. With the interest rates where they are at right now, you can find some pretty motivated sellers in the higher price ranges. You have to work out the payments, make sure the payments work, but don't ignore those houses that are between 500,000 and 2 million. Those sellers are really desperate and really motivated. And sometimes you can work out some kind of a lease purchase deal where it's very lucrative and you can have a big monthly spread. We have one property we're making about $1,650 a month on, and that's a more expensive, like a $900,000 house. But we're paying $1,847 and we're collecting like $3,500. So there's a big, sometimes those big houses, you call that seller and you just say, hey, look, I'll cover your mortgage payment until I cash you out. Does that sound good? And if they say yes, that's a great deal. That's a motivated seller, in a high price range. Now, you're going to have less buyers in that price range, admittedly. You're not going to have a 1 hour open house on $1 million house and have 50 people come rushing in like we usually do in the regular price ranges. But I don't want you, if you talk to a seller in that price range, don't be shy. Don't think, oh, this deal's not going to work. It's it's too high priced. It's not my normal comfortable 100,000 to 300,000 price range. So or 50,000 to 300,000. So let's get focused up on those more expensive properties. Sometimes those are the ones that are really suffering with the pre-foreclosure because they're big payments. And when they're not making their payments, they're falling behind significantly quickly. So that's a case where we might try to do a loan modification, get a reinstatement, because I don't want to have to come up with all that cash to cure the delinquency. Okay, so normally what do we like to do on a foreclosure? We talked about this on Tuesday. What's our favorite strategy when you talk to a seller who's behind on the mortgage? What's our favorite strategy? It's catching up the mortgage, coming up with the cash, whatever few $1,000s it is, or what 10,000 or whatever it is, catching up the mortgage. Consider that your down payment. And if you can get a house for 95% financed with 5% down, that's an amazing deal. Okay, with seller financing, no qualifying, that's a great deal. So that means you have to come up with 5% down. So if you have to, bite the bullet, you're going to get the money back anyway from your lease purchase tenant buyer. So as soon as you put somebody in there, you're going to be recovering those funds. So don't be shy about catching up the mortgage. My one tip on this, as I mentioned on Tuesday, was make sure to call the mortgage company. Don't just assume, okay, the last thing they sent said that you're 30,000, or 15,000 behind. Let's just send in 15,000 and cross our fingers. No, somebody has to call the mortgage company. Sometimes people get too late. Sometimes it's too far gone. It's illegal and they won't pull it back out. And so you can only deal with the attorneys at that point, and they're not going to give you more time, and they're not going to work out anything with you. It's too far gone. So don't just automatically think, okay, this is what it says on the website, how much you're behind, so I'll send a check over there. Make sure the seller talks to somebody, and you can be listening, and says, hey, if I sent in, how much would I have to send in? Don't assume anything. How much would I have to send in to, call it even, to cure the arrearage is sometimes what people say, or cure the delinquency. So make sure that you call the mortgage company and know that they will accept it. And because I don't want you, buying the house, closing on it, taking the deed, and owning the property, and all of a sudden you find out the mortgage company is not going to work with you. So that would be traumatic. Okay, so let's see what you guys have to say today. Any other tips on pre-foreclosures? You guys always have great. What forms of marketing for leads are working for you? Guys, we do more than anything. We do referrals, and we do a referral network. We have companies that we work with that send us referrals, and we have people that send us a lot of referrals, and old customers that send us referrals. We have a referral program where we give people $1,000 if they send us somebody that we help, and we make sure everybody knows that. Guys, I want you to really push that $1,000 referral fee. That's a really good source, and we still get leads off of outbound calling. Outbound calling is a reliable way to get leads. We also do mailers. We do direct mail. We don't do like thousands of direct mail pieces, but we do hundreds of direct mail pieces, but to highly targeted sources. That's why if you want a good software program, we use RealFlow, and it does have a really good marketing arm to it and a good way to find the best leads. So if you guys are interested in getting any kind of a CRM, let me know, because I can get you the best possible deal on it. I have an insider hookup with the RealFlow, so I can definitely get you a good deal. Morning. Hey, great to see ya. Okay, good morning. Just got back from winter in Florida. Awesome. Okay, so you're going to tune in every Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday from now on. I'm going to see you here, right? Awesome. Good morning, Noel and Kathy. My loyalist brunchers are Loyal and Kathy and Ken and Caleb. You guys are always here. Good morning. Always making great comments. So I mentioned that. So guys, what else? Can you list or mention some landlord friendly states? I will tell you guys that it's almost, I mean, I hate to go to this cliche, but it's almost a red state, blue state thing. So the blue states tend to be a lot more renter friendly. The red states tend to be more landlord friendly, like Texas and these other red states. So if any state you live in, I mean, if you're looking to build a portfolio in another city, like we have done. Now we have portfolios in several other cities, in Indiana, Kentucky, Minnesota, because Lynette has 9 brothers and sisters, and there's a lot of bird dogs in Minnesota. Plus also Detroit, but we have really good boots on the ground in Detroit. So you can choose a city, and if the numbers look good, you can start buying properties and build a portfolio there. Just make sure that the 1% rule applies. So if you're looking for a new city to work, and like your city, if you're in Seattle and that, you're not going to find the 1% rule properties. So what's the 1% rule? 1% rule, somebody put this in, rent equals 1% of value. It's a very easy formula, and it works up till about 200,000. So the main sort of chunk of properties that works, the range is 80,000 to about 150. So if you can buy a house for 100,000 and it rents for 1,000, that's usually going to be a good cash flow property. That's the rent. That's the rent equals 1% of value rule. So if you're buying a $150,000 house, you're hoping you can get $1,500 a month. Okay, you understand that? Now, it doesn't work on anything over 200, so don't try to apply it. But that doesn't mean, as I spoke earlier about these properties that are 500,000 to 2 million, there's no way they're going to match up with that 1% rule. However, you can get some huge spreads. So don't automatically assume those don't work, because the seller may have a low payment that you can take over. All right. So, but the 1% rule should apply. And if you're looking for a new city, I want you to look at, if you don't have a software program that you're paying for independently, look on Zillow, look up the prices, and then look at the rentals estimate. Now, I can tell you that a house in Evansville, Indiana, $100,000 house, we struggled to get 1,000. Okay, but in Detroit, if I got a $100,000 house, I'm almost sure I'm going to get $1,400-1,500. Just the rents are higher in Detroit. Don't ask me why. I don't know all the sociological implications and all the economic indicators that cause that, but some areas just have higher rents. So if you're exploring new cities, find an area with higher rents, as versus cost of the properties. So that, and when you find properties like that are in pre-foreclosure, if they're cheaper properties, 60, 70, 80, $100,000 properties, usually the arrearage is a lot less, because the payment's only going to be, 500 or 600 a month or whatever it is. And so even if they've missed 10 payments or something, they're not like $20,000 of arrearage. So that, I want you to definitely be focused on developing a good 1%, portfolio. And it's very hard to do that in Phoenix, where we live. Okay, Mesa and Phoenix, it's hard to find any houses that are under 200,000 that are nice houses. So that's why the 1% rule does not work in certain cities. Okay, so try it, and if you're picking a new city, I want you to make sure that it works in that city. Okay, so yeah, blue states, red states, just look at that. Yeah, I'll talk about private lenders. Let me do that next week. Okay, I'm going to talk about private lenders and national private lending companies, working with a company versus a private lender, if you have a private lender. So yes, I'll talk about private lending and working with companies next week. Florida and Texas, yes, well, again, those are the red states. So if you're looking for landlord friendly, yeah, Florida, Texas, like I mentioned, Texas, just go to the red states. Jason, hey, awesome. Thank you, Jason. I'm glad. That makes me feel happy when you guys get value out of what we're doing here. And especially, you know, I'm not a normal teacher. I'm not a normal real estate investing teacher. I think about everything, and I think a lot about motivation and mindset. And so obviously we talk about that here quite a bit, and I love doing it because that's more important sometimes than the technical stuff, having your mind right, right? Hey, Caleb, thanks. Guys, I love it when you interact with each other, and you should be following each other and networking with each other. Morning, Charles. Charles is always says hi to everybody. He's so nice. Okay. County record search. Yeah, don't forget, guys, if you're looking for your pre-foreclosure properties, you're looking for an NOD list, And there's a couple places you can get that, but I know Roger gets his from First American Title. So if you do not have a source for an NOD list, notice of default, go, and some states use this it's a verbiage called list pendants. So there's different, every state has their own, every county has their own different way of doing it. That's why sheriffs kick people out of houses, not local cops, because it's not the cities that is foreclosing, it's the counties. So the county courthouse, that's where the auctions are. So when you're looking in different counties, that's where you would go to the county courthouse, or you can call, and sometimes you can get, there's two things I'd like you to get from the county: a list of NODs if you'd use that, or you can go to title companies. So call First American Title and say, hey, my friend Roger gets, you guys send him a NOD list every day through the email. Can you do that for me? And you know, a lot of times they don't care. They want it. Usually title agents are the best. Guys, I love title agents. If you want help in your market and you want to ask a whole bunch of dumb questions, call a title agent. They're trying to get your business. They actually get big cookie baskets and stuff and go out to realtor offices and try to drum up business. So usually they're pretty friendly and pretty helpful, and they don't charge you. They're not like, okay, you know, if I'm going to talk to you for a half an hour, it's you know, I got to have a lawyer fee. I got to have a retainer. So talk to title company closing agents. They're super helpful, and they can help you in your area. And you can ask them, hey, could you send me an NOD list? And they usually can. And also you promise them that you're going to close any deals that you get off the NOD list with them. Okay. So there's different places you can get an NOD list. If you have a CRM or a software program you're using like RealFlow, they actually have a search program that actually has a pre-foreclosure button. So you can do a search for just pre-foreclosures. Now, if you have a search engine in your CRM like we do, you can actually do some selections where I want you to pick not just pre-foreclosure, but also vacant. Pick them both and have it must match all selected. Okay, because that way you get some really hot properties. These are pre-foreclosures and vacant. So you got super motivated sellers. Okay. Yes, indeed. Nick, good morning, Nick. Can you cover? Yes, I will talk about raising private money next week, guys, and working with a national private lending company versus smaller, you know, like a local private lender as well. Now, yes, you can buy properties in other states with your LLC in your state. In fact, guys, I'll talk about this sometime, entity structuring. But if you have a state where your name is on public records, every time you buy a house and put it in an LLC, I want you to do some kind of strategy like either land trusts or serial LLCs, or I want you to have your holding LLCs in New Mexico. Okay, not Delaware, not Wyoming, and not Nevada like you think. It's New Mexico is the best state to have your holding LLCs, not your operating LLC. That's fine to have in your state, but I don't want you holding a bunch of properties and anybody who pulls you up on public record sees that you own 50 houses. That's not what we want. We want a minimum amount of anonymity. Okay. Thumbs up. Hi, Isabel. Good morning. Isabel always chimes in. Yes. Okay. We're using RealFlow. I'm using a branded version of RealFlow. Okay. It's a whitelisted, it's a company that wants to sell it to their customers. And so they call it something different, but it's RealFlow. Okay. Okay. Yeah. And I'm going to talk about private lenders. Okay. Next week. All right. So I'm going to talk about private lenders next week. And this was really good. You guys have great questions. I love answering questions. I love talking to you guys. And you know, I'm pretty open to talking about anything again. And don't forget, I will send you the recording of the bad habits, conquering bad habits and addictions. Or if you missed this last Tuesday, it's all about pre-foreclosure. So we spent an hour talking about it. Everything from how to find them, how to market to them, what to say to them, you know. And don't forget, you got the pre-foreclosure closing call script in your what to say manual. It's the pre-foreclosure seller. There's 5 sellers in there, and one of them is the pre-foreclosure seller. You got 5 different closing calls for sellers. Okay, so what's our affirmation for today? Our affirmation for today is, I love real estate. Oh my gosh, have I used that one too much? I don't care. I'm going to say I love real estate. Okay, ready? 3 times on 3. Ready? 1, 2, 3. I love real estate. I love real estate. I love real estate. Yes, it's exciting and fun and lucrative. So let's do our deep breathing. 3 deep breaths. Nice deep breath in. Always put a big smile on your face. On the first one, you can always hear your bones cracking. Sometimes your vertebrae are cracking. Okay, exhale. Another deep breath in. Good. Take a deep breath. Oh, that feels good. Fills your lungs with oxygen. Let it go. And you got a big smile, right? One more. Hold it and let it go. Relax your arms and shoulders and your neck. All right. Good job, guys. I will see you tomorrow. Same Wolf time, same Wolf channel. And we'll have another great brunch with Brian about some other great topic. We'll find something great to talk about tomorrow. And tomorrow is Formal Dining Room Fridays. Let me know if you have any questions or you need anything, and send me an email if you need a link to a former Teaching Tuesdays call at support@thewolfcouple.com. Okay, till I talk to you next, what are you going to do? You're going to keep expecting success, getting awesome training from the Wolf Couple, and taking action. Yes.